I'm Sam Schulte, and I live in Mountain View, Minnesota. And in the winter, I play in Mountain View, and my favorite player is Sidney Crosby.
Hi, my name is Cole Brownhausen. I live in Lake Elmo, Minnesota. My winter hockey club is Stillwater. My favorite player is Alex Ovechkin.
Hi, my name is Tucker. I live in Edina, Minnesota, and for my winter, I play for Edina, and my favorite hockey player is Zach Parise.
My name is Austin Gibson. I live in Rochester, Minnesota. I play for Rochester Youth Hockey Association, and my favorite player is Alex Ovechkin.
Hi, my name is Ryder Betzold. I'm from Farmington, Minnesota, and I played for Farmington Tigers in the winter, and my favorite hockey player is TJ Oshie.
My name is Henry Ament. I live in Orono, Minnesota, and I play for the Orono Spartans. And then my favorite hockey player is Zach Parise.
Hi, my name is Dylan Otten. I'm from Burnsville, Minnesota, and in the winter I play for the Minnesota Blades, and my favorite hockey player is Connor McDavid.
Hi, my name is Cade Sherman. I'm from Rosemount, Minnesota. I play for Rosemount Irish in the winter. My favorite hockey player is Matthew Barzell.
My name is Gavin Core. I live in Rochester, Minnesota. My winter team is Rochester, and my favorite hockey player is Connor McDavid.
My name is Eddie Oren. I live in Minnesota Heights, Minnesota. I play for Sibley Warriors in the winter, and my favorite hockey player is Austin Matthews.
My name is Jack Colchin. I'm from Chanhassen, Minnesota. In winter I play for Chaska Chanhassen, and my favorite player is Steven Stamkos.
My name is Colin Conway, and I'm from Farmington, Minnesota, and I play for Farmington Tigers in the winter. My favorite hockey player is Austin Matthews.
My name is Jack Stanius. My hometown is Forest Lake, and my hockey team that I play for in the winter is Forest Lake Rangers, and then my favorite player has got to be Marian Hossa.
Hi, my name is Jacob Guile. I'm from Farmington, Minnesota. I play for the Farmington Tigers, and my favorite player is Dustin Bufflin.
Hi, my name is Jackson Johnson. I'm from Matamidi, and my winter club is the Matamidi Zephyrs, and my favorite player is Mario Lemieux.
Hi, my name is Owen Lunenborg. I live in Bloomington, Minnesota. I play for Bloomington Jefferson in the winter, and my favorite hockey player is Braden Holtby.
My name is Colin Ingebrigtsen. I'm from Woodbury, Minnesota. My winter team is Minnesota Made. My favorite player is Charlie McAvoy.
Hi, my name is Parker DeShane. My hometown is Monticello, Minnesota. My winter team is Rogers Royals, and my favorite player is Connor McDavid.
My name is Mason Jensen. My hometown is Minnesota. My winter club is Rogers. My favorite player is Connor McDavid.
My name is Tommy Picanato. My hometown is Osseo Maple Grove. I play for Osseo Maple Grove Squirt A, and my favorite player is Connor McDavid.
My name is Danny Clares. I'm from Orono, Minnesota. My team is Orono. My favorite player is Mark Scheifele.
Hello, my name is Mason Kraft. My hometown is Lakeville, Minnesota. My winter club is Lakeville North, and my favorite player is Patrick Kane.
My name is Andrew O'Neill. I'm from Fargo, North Dakota. I play for Fargo Freeze, and my favorite player is Connor McDavid.
My name's Tyler Hess. I'm from St. Louis Park, Minnesota. My winter club, St. Louis Park, and my favorite player is Nathan McKinnon.
Hi, my name is KG Sauer. I live in Sartell, Minnesota. My winter team is the Sartell Sabres, and my favorite hockey player is Sidney Crosby.
My name is Rowan Vaughn. My hometown is Minnetonka, Minnesota. My winter club is Minnetonka. My favorite player is Alex Ovechkin.
Hi, my name is Luke Myers. I'm from Stillwater, Minnesota. My winter club is the Stillwater Ponies. My favorite player is Thomas Vanek.
My name is Gavin McNeil. I'm from Apple Valley, Minnesota. I play for Apple Valley Eagles, and my favorite player is Mikhail Granlund.
Hello, my name is Faz Offit. I'm from Edina, Minnesota. This winter I played for Edina Squirt A Green, and my favorite player is Marc-Andre Fleury.
My name is Will Corton. I'm from Lakeville, Minnesota. I played for Lakeville South Squirt A. My favorite player is Brock Besser.
Hi, my name is Landon Hubel. I'm from Lakeland, Minnesota, and I play Stillwater School Day, and my favorite player is Marc-Andre Fleury.
It's a great day for hockey here in Bloomington, Minnesota, as we are just about underway with the last game of Day 2 of the 2018 North American Hockey Showcase. My name is Eric Zamora. I'll have the play-by-play call of Great Plains versus Minnesota. And let's take a look at the starting lineups for Minnesota. It'll be Owen Lundberg as their netminder. Defensively, they'll go with Jacob Guile and Sam Schultz. Centering the top line is Dylan Otten. His wings will be Cole Bronshausen, as well as Eddie Oren. And the Minnesota squad in the baby blue uniforms, white numerals, and black trim going from left to right. The netminder, Lundberg, looks over his shoulder as Great Plains offers this one up, knocked down out front, and now ahead is Otten. Otten and Oren. Now it's Bronshausen. Tries to slip around a couple of players. Great Plains in the process. Pick his pocket, and that was Hess coming up with it. Feathering pass out front, and it's banged home. Great Plains, Rowan Vaughn. Set up by Gavin McNeil, and just 54 seconds into action. Great Plains on top by a score of 1-0. We'll see if there was a second assist handed out, but I believe this will be Vaughn from McNeil. And didn't even have time yet to introduce Great Plains goaltender. It's Fuzz Offit out of Edina, Minnesota. Great Plains back in, and they hit the side of the goalpost. Sent over, trying to settle it down for Mason Jensen out of Rogers, Minnesota. The Great Plains went with a starting lineup of Cullen Ingebrigtsen and Danny Clares. The wings, Rowan Vaughn, as well as Andrew O'Neill. And it was McNeil who had the assist there moments ago, the top line center this evening. Looking for a centering pass out front. Minnesota didn't miss by much. Just 2 minutes gone by in the contest. And into the corner, Great Plains flips it out. Jensen is hustling to it and brings it in. He'll cut towards the net. They'll feed it over and unable to collect. And a great save as Minnesota could have easily gone down by 2 there. KJ Sauer picking up the rebound off of the Parker Duchesne shot, and Great Plains trying to get right back in the offensive zone. Cutting around, not able to find quite what they were looking for, but still banging away. Minnesota trying to set it up. They'll feed it back to the point. Tipped right out front. Loose puck, and it somehow stays out. Still loose. As Minnesota had a couple of players banging away at it, the goaltender lost his blocker as well as his stick in the process. He's got the former, still without the latter. Thrown towards the net, and he'll use that blocker and glove to hold on, and he'll take the whistle. 11:56 left to go in period number 1. Great Plains takes the early lead. Great Plains in those cream jerseys with black numerals, white trim, going from right to left and looking to try to open things up offensively. They've already got one, and coming across the line cleanly, it's Owen Corkish, a Cottage Grove, Minnesota native. Thrown towards the net, saved by the goaltender, kicked out. Would have been in a bad spot if anybody in blue had been able to get to that, but helped out by his defense, and they keep the shot, the second shot, I should clarify, from coming about. Into the offensive zone goes Minnesota. Elevated high, and the shot is blockered away. Tracked down, and Great Plains will look to break out. For Vaughn, that's his first point of this tournament, reaching in and tying up Minnesota's Bronzehausen, but it will come at a cost as Great Plains touches up and will have a penalty as hooking will be the call. Just 4 minutes and 31 seconds expired here in the contest. As for McNeil, he's got 3 points already. 1 goal, that being his second assist. Face off to the right of the netminder. The official waits, gets set, and it'll take a second drop, but well, I should actually no, first drop, but it took a second set as the official felt there's a little bit too much contact there. Get things underway. 18 seconds gone by in the penalty as they'll feed this over. Waiting. So Claire's in the box. Thrown towards the net, blocked out front, waiting. Bronzehausen tried to spin and pull the trigger. Not able to get that through. Shot rising at the netminder. Short-handed effort. McNeil gets the shot off and will set up. This one looks like it'll be going to the right side of the goaltender. From the left wing side, Minnesota looking to break out on the power play. It'll go all the way down. Icing will be the call, and never something that you want to get called for, but particularly when you're on the power play, you're trying to set up, and now Minnesota will have to go back and try to win a defensive zone draw. Core waiting at the line. They're offside, so Minnesota will touch up. Betzold feeds it over to the left side. They're across the line cleanly. Looking for an outlet instead. So we played back. Keeping that at his skates was Schultz. Guile waiting at the point, but Betzold cuts inside, draws 2 of the 4 Great Plains skaters. 20 seconds to go. And short-handed, they'll come up. It's Duchesne. Duchesne waits, snipes one in. The netminder got a piece of it with his glove, but not enough. Great Plains on top by a score of 2-0 This one coming at the 6:22 mark of period number 1. And when you're down a man, you're just hoping that the score remains the same while he's in the box. Well, that has not been the case for Dave Snuggerud's team. However, Great Plains has done even one better. They are 8 seconds away from getting Clares back, not giving up a power play goal, but instead striking shorthanded. And that is exactly where we will pick up action. Looking to cycle it down low. So across the line and cleanly. So Jensen picks up the lone assist on the play for Duchesne. He's now got 4 points in the tournament, half of them coming as goals for Jensen. He's leading the team in points. He's now up to 6 with 4 goals, that being his second helper. The netminder for Great Plains, Offet, able to make the stop as we're approaching the halfway point of period number 1, waiting, partially blocked, and now looking to exit. Banked ahead, and Johnson is stymied there. It was Coltgen, the defenseman, jumping into the action. This one goes down the length of the ice, icing the call with 7:14 remaining in our first. 2-0 Great Plains on top. The goaltender standing at the left post, waiting for his team to get a clearance, and they do. Now into the other end. Here's Vaughn, the goal scorer, to start things off. O'Neill tried to muscle one through. And the defenseman from the right side, pinching in, that was Clares. O'Neill pins his body up against the boards, make sure that one doesn't get past his left leg, and will take some contact there from Guile and pop right back up. Vaughn comes up with the collision, and then 2 players that didn't see each other coming. Here's Clares, offers one up, tapped in, and the goal scored by Rowan Vaughn, set up by Danny Clares. Off the rebound of Claire's shot, 8 minutes and 41 seconds, time of the goal. Vaughn already with his second in the contest. And it is Great Plains on top by a score of 3-0.
Scoring for Great Plains, second goal of the game, number 21, Rowan Vaughn.
6 minutes to go in the opening frame.
After the goal, 6:19. Vaughn from Clares and 6:19.
Great Plains with a record of 1-1, trying to improve to 2-1. As Rocky Mountain right now alone atop the standings with 8 points, although they have played one more game than some of the competition here, including these 2 teams. Into the offensive zone it goes, and Great Plains has been setting up quite a bit. Down there. So Minnesota right now ahead in the standings. They've got 4 points with a regulation win and an overtime loss. So Great Plains not only trying to pick up points, but see if they can't keep Minnesota, a predominantly in-state rival, from picking up any points. So when you're playing somebody close in the standings, it's almost a 2-game swing. How many points you can end up with and how many you can keep away from the opposition. Ideally, you give them a goose egg. And what I mean by primarily an in-state rival is that Minnesota is a team comprised of nothing but players from the land of 10,000 lakes, while as Great Plains does have one player from outside the state of Minnesota. It's Andrew O'Neill, who hails from Fargo. Kraft out of Lakeville, Minnesota, in the slot, and the fans, I think, were expecting a shot there. Tried to get a little bit deceptive, and with a great scoring opportunity, elected to try to make one more pass than he probably should have, looking for a shot there, and instead they'll have to settle for possession once again, as it's Ingebrigtsen battling to try to keep it in the zone. Unsuccessful. Here's Johnson. Has that stolen away. They'll play it ahead. Guile lets that one go. Here's Schultz. Schultz with a couple of spins clockwise. Stanius offering one up, and love the way that that was handled. Not just getting a piece of it, but then directionally controlling the rebound, getting it out to the point. This is stolen away by Schultz, and boy, he needed to be careful, as if he hadn't made that play, it would have been Great Plains off to the races. Instead, true transition play. It sets up an offensive opportunity for Minnesota, although that looks like it'll go by the wayside as Great Plains gets out of the zone. Looking over, flip to open space. Vaughn will give chase, as Vaughn, remember, anytime he shoots now, he's a goal away from completing a first period hat trick. Strong on the puck. They'll feed it up top. Great Plains, a squad that had a lot of success in last year's competition. As Max Plant and Brody Zemer led the entire tournament in points. Plant with 27. Zemer, the younger brother of Brady Zemer, who's committed to St. Cloud State, firing a shot and a save, also a product of the Des Moines Buccaneers USHL program. He had a tournament-leading 14 goal, or I should say, was second in points and second in goals last season with 23 and 14 respectively. Cole Iserman out of New England led the way in goals with 16. They'll advance this up the line, and coming away with it is Chaz Lentz. So a lot of these players very familiar with each other, coming from the same areas. Korkish and Lentz both playing for the Wolfpack program out of Cottage Grove, but wearing different colored sweaters here. Jensen gets the puck over. Great shot, better save. Having to get his whole body down to make sure that there wasn't an easy tap it, and here's Otten the other way. Otten with time, picks his spot, and goes over to the goaltender's right, slips it past his leg pad, and with just a minute and 36 seconds left to go in the first period, the Minnesota squad gets on the board thanks to a poorly timed change and a little bit of a defensive breakdown for Great Plains. It's now 3-1.
Scoring for Minnesota's number 12, Dylan Otten. Assisted by number 8, Chaz Lentz.
So Lentz picks up the lone assist on that nice breakout pass that had Otten, had players with him at his level, but he was way over to the right. They were off to the left, not able to get there in time. And this will come out. Kultgen gets tangled up as we're down to a minute remaining in the period. Tipped ahead, and Great Plains looking to follow that one up. as advancing it was William Cortan. A great blocker save. Boy, netminder Fuzz Offit moving over to his right in a hurry. And then a strong play by Corkish. First to fight off a man, then to advance it. Corkish followed up by Vaughn, but now Minnesota. Coltgen plays it ahead. They're offside as Core took the first step and didn't gain the zone in the process. Down to 15 seconds left to go in the period. Long pass, but Core knew that he had to gain the zone early. Otherwise, it was going to go all the way down for an icing. So thought maybe he could catch the official napping, but nope. Both of them in perfect position to see. And so whether he'd let that go for an icing or have it go as an offside, either way, it'll bring the action all the way back down to the glove side of Minnesota's netminder, Owen Lundborg, who is a Bloomington native. Vaughn spins, fires, and as I mentioned earlier, is looking to end the period with a hat trick. 1.3 seconds left to go in the frame. Face off to the goaltender's left, and that shot well off the mark. 3-1, Great Plains on top of Minnesota. We'll be back in 60 seconds with the start of your second period. You're watching the 2018 North American Hockey Showcase, and the show is brought to you right here on Youth Hockey Hub. In the baby blue uniforms, white numerals, and black trim, Minnesota going from right to left this period. Great Plains with a 3-1 lead in cream-colored jerseys, black numerals, and white trim going from left to right. Ahead for Jensen, who's already got a point in this one. It'll be handled, and inadvertently running into one of his own teammates is KJ Sauer. This is set up at the point, and picking his spot was Luke Myers. He's part of the Stillwater Ponies program. And a second shot offered up. And those didn't miss by much, but were off target. That one, however, did require the goaltender's presence, as he had that one kick off of the padding. Nearly stolen away, but Great Plains with a 3-on-1 opportunity. Duchesne trying to get it ahead for Jensen, and touching it and making a huge play there was Jack Coltgen. Set up and sent over for Duchesne, and unable to capitalize there as that one rolled off the stick. Waiting, spinning, and sent up and around. firing a shot that took a deflection, pinballed towards the net, but off target. Kulkin gets bodied away and now fed ahead. Here comes Cortan. Cortan cuts towards the net, sends it through the crease, in one side, out the other. Now ahead, Bronshausen. Bronshausen drops it off for Otten. Otten gets tangled up. Collision behind the cage into the boards. 12:41 to go in period number 2. We'll have the lone resurfacing in between periods coming up next. Here's Oren, and a nice pad save as the goaltender took away everything down low, dared him to elevate it, and sent the rebound into the corner. Battling, fighting it off, and coming away with this is Great Plains' Tyler Hess, a St. Louis Park native, and who normally plays for the local program. Korkish advances it, but then loses it. Here's Otten. Otten cuts in, waits, fires, and goes off the far side post. Ahead and unable to track that one down was Vaughn. Well, I should say not cleanly. Into the offensive zone, Minnesota trying to track it back down, forecheck, and come up with a steal. Otten loses his stick in the process, and he'll head off for a change, replaced by Core. Sent around the boards, Great Plains looking to back up and play some defense. Left there, Great Plains clean at the line. Drop pass, here's O'Neill trying to get that one to go through. Held by O'Neill, waiting, spinning, firing, and scoring. Great Plains picking up the goal off of the tape of Gavin McNeil. The Apple Valley product wastes no time, just spins and fires. When he released that one, could not see the net, but like good hockey players, knew approximately where it was and was able to find an opening. He picks up the goal just 4 minutes and 6 seconds into period number 2. So Vaughn and McNeil have been hot so far as the goaltender, Offit, coming up with the stop at the other end. Face-off by Duchesne. Here comes Jensen. Jensen to Duchesne. A 3-on-2. Over. Firing and a save by the netminder. Offering that up for the Great Plains was KJ Sauer. So the lone assist going to Andrew O'Neill on the Gavin McNeil goal. And we'll go right back and do it again. 10:32 left in the period. Hess with a backhand flip. Minnesota looking to get it ahead. Amit with it from the left side. Bodied as the Great Plains KJ Sauer making his introduction to his opposition and running into a brick wall there. The officials telling them to keep their feet moving, and they'll eventually become untangled. Here comes Sauer. Sauer. That's tipped out of midair. Big collision there. And this will be played down the length of the ice. Centering pass broken up. And long outlet pass. It's touched, and Colgan keeps it ahead. Wouldn't have been icing had it gone the distance because of the deflection, but got quite a ways from the goal line anyway. Guile pressured from behind. Now with time, trying to find Gibson is Minnesota's Tucker Johnson, excuse me. Duchesne waits at the line. Bring it ahead, but unable to find a way to pass that off was Colin Ingebrigtsen. Shot saved by the netminder. Chipped up the boards, not quite out yet. Now it is, and Great Plains waiting. Patience shown there, as Clares could have just dumped it in. Instead, he elects to take some time, buy an opportunity for his teammates to make a change and get on side. And they're back in the offensive zone and going back to work. 8:04, 4-1 the score. And looking over his shoulder is Ingebrigtsen to make sure he's got a clean lane up that left wing side. Well, he didn't, but despite the fact that it wasn't wide open, it was enough for them to maintain possession. This is ahead for Korkish. Korkish feeds it to Cortan, who had that get through his legs. Sent around. Waiting. Backed up. Firing a shot. And looking to gather there, as that was initiated by Owen Korkish. 7:05 to go in the period. Myers cuts over to his right. From there, runs out of real estate, and Minnesota cutting back the other way. Coming in is Otten. Otten's got options. Stays with it. It's backhanded in. Otten with the initial shot, and it's backed up. I believe this is going to be Gibson's goal. And Minnesota cuts the lead to 2. It's 4-2. Time of the goal, 8 minutes, 8 seconds. Brought right back in by Minnesota, but losing the puck right at the blue line. McNeil brings it in the offensive zone. Great Plains can't maintain possession. Here comes Lentz, and I spoke too soon. O'Neill for Great Plains. It's a game of hot potato. Neither side can connect on a pass or two. Here's Betzold. And so it's Schultz with the goal on the Otten shot. 4, not 9, as O'Neill comes in and is denied point blank. Had a couple of players draped on him like a cape. He was able to fight him off. Still get a good shot off, but not one that could solve the netminder. With it is Betzold. Long pass ahead. Here's Ament going hard to the net. And the netminder was fooled as that pass never ended up getting through his left short side, but nobody could tap it home. They'll work it, firing a shot. Good look there by Minnesota's Betzold. Lentz advances it ahead. It's swept at. And this will be chipped deep. Out front. That'll take a deflection. Waiting, firing. And a glove stop by the goaltender, although it looked like that shot from Sauer was off the mark regardless. Trying to fight it over was Vaughn. That would have been his hat trick. 5:02 to go in the second frame, and ever since getting 2 in the first, Rowan Vaughn has had a couple of good opportunities for a third, but tall to the task has been Owen Lundberg. Wrap around offering not an attempt, as they never get a shot off there, just trying to quickly go from one side to the other. That's blocked out front. They'll try to spring it ahead for Gibson. Gibson behind the defense. Gibson curling, though, away from the net, doesn't end up getting a great scoring opportunity, at least unless a rebound was offered up, but none was there as Fuzz Offit was able to swallow that one whole. 4:32 to go in period number 2. We'll take a face-off to that netminder's right. It's Johnson, should differentiate, as it's Tucker Johnson for Minnesota. Would have been odd, though, to see Jackson Johnson taking it, as he's the other goaltender. Thrown towards the net, and Duchesne nearly capitalized there. Gibson banks it ahead, and skating into space is Coltgen. Johnson gets tangled up. Coltgen robbed of it. Here's Jensen. Jensen has Sauer cutting towards the slot. Can't get it through, however, as Minnesota clogs up the lanes quickly. This will be picked up and escorted out of the zone. Johnson now trying to track down, as he knows that that initial pass didn't work out the way he wanted to. Stanius has that one swept away by Ingebrigtsen. Nice job from his knees, and with one hand on the stick, still able to keep that away from his opposition. Ahead for Sauer. Sauer across the line along with his 2 line mates at the same time. He'll switch spots with Duchesne. Duchesne then had his pocket picked, and again, strong on the puck. Minnesota looking to exit the zone. Brought ahead, and here comes Lentz. Lentz, good at the line, waiting, feeds it over, and this is Otten with it. Otten hands it off, firing and not missing by much was Cole Bronshausen. Now Bronshausen with a drive, and the netminder got a piece of it with his stick to send it up and over the crossbar. That nearly, despite the fact that it hit his twig, nearly went bar down. Duchesne cuts in and puts it right into the glove of the netminder. Hoping there'd be a rebound was William Cortan, but the Lakeville South product was left without any loose pieces to jump on. 2:26 left to go in period number 2, 4-2. Great Plains on top. Held in, and it's lifted away. Otten across the line, firing, and that was offered up by Eddie Oren, a Sibley product out of Mendota Heights, Minnesota. Minnesota on the puck. Getting tangled up and advancing the gameplay was Mason Kraft. Dancing inside was Cortan. Made the first move, couldn't finish it off with the second. The skate of Hess getting the job done there to slow it down. Twice, Great Plains has had a 3-goal lead. Both times, Minnesota's cut it to 2. And tangled up, it leaves a loose puck, and banging it home is Ryder Betzold. He lifts it up and over the netminder. And with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go, Minnesota has made it 4-3. I believe this is going to be Betzold unassisted, as I don't think that collision between the two players actually resulted in the puck being touched. Betzold floats it towards the net, off the mark. It misses on the short side. And down to the last 50 seconds. McNeil reaching in. And they will indeed credit Ament in touching it, but Great Plains responds in kind just seconds later. 14:23 time of the goal. And a back and forth finish to this period has the Great Plains back on top by 2. It's 5-3. Duchesne and Johnson. Johnson wins it cleanly back to Lentz. Lentz has to sweep that away, and now coming in, an opportunity, firing, but missing the mark. Out front, and Sauer tries to force that ahead to Jensen. Great Plains across the line. They'll feed it over. Here's Duchesne, and Duchesne's shot is swallowed. It's still loose. Jensen tried to pull the trigger and couldn't. The horn will sound, and the period comes to an end. Rowan Vaughn with a hat trick from Gavin McNeil and Andrew O'Neill. 14:23 of period number 2, and we'll go into the third with Great Plains on top by a score of 5-3. You're watching the 2018 North American Hockey Showcase, and the show is brought to you right here on Youth Hockey Hub. Third period action. Otten trying to get things started right away from Minnesota. Cuts in through the middle. Rebound loose, and the Great Plains still unable to get rid of the threat. Waiting. Here's Lentz. Banks it around. And now back up the left wing side, looking to lose it. And this will be touched on perfectly for Minnesota. Otten comes away with it, lifts it, and a nice job getting back. Hess, and the goal horn sounded, but there was no goal to be had as Great Plains averts disaster. Otten with a drive off the mark, and the netminder for Great Plains. Off it, slides over, gloves it, and we will have a stoppage here with 55 seconds left to go in period number 3, or excuse me, 55 seconds elapsed in period 3. Now 14 minutes remaining. They'll wait to break out. Great Plains coming up the side, and with it is Korkish. Korkish tries to fight one over on the backhand. The netminder wasn't quite sure where the puck was. He thought that Korkish had gotten it through to the other side, but instead it was behind the goal line. He'll survive, however, as Minnesota picks it up. It's Ament circling the wagon, guarded by Cortan. Still on it. Tough angle shot. And Vaughn helps break it up. Now they'll lift it ahead. Behind the defense is Rowan Vaughn. Vaughn gets there. Wraparound attempt, nearly banked it in off of the paddle of the goalkeeper. Vaughn now flips it deep. With it is Korkish. And that comes out of the zone. Myers waits and will settle things down as his teammates go for a change. Bodying that was Tucker Johnson. And those two bang frames right in front of the bench of Minnesota. Outlet pass, a little bit slow, but O'Neill's patient enough to wait for it. McNeil waiting at the line. McNeil takes the pass from O'Neill. Schultz ties him up momentarily. And now Johnson getting involved in the play as well. Schultz caroms a pass over for Stanius. McNeil brings it back in. He'll wait, makes the handoff. O'Neill gets a shot off, and Lundborg sends it up and over the crossbar. Just over 3 minutes gone by here, and exciting action here in the third period. Minnesota in the baby blue uniforms, white numerals, black trim, going from left to right. Stanius cuts in, then has to settle for maintained possession for a while in the offensive zone. Great Plains looking to get out. Hess gets it to the red line. Schultz dumps it right back in. Waiting, slamming on the brakes was Myers. Over. Vaughn got that ahead for Sauer. Otten with it. They'll reach in on Otten, and he elevates it off the mark. Oren jumps into the action. And Great Plains will kick it ahead. Chopped at by Conway. Jensen has a man with him. Jensen waits, fires, and scores! Mason Jensen got that to roll up the right arm of the netminder. And with 4 minutes and 9 seconds gone here in period number 3, Great Plains is on top by 3. It's 6-3. On the draw, Korkish wins it over to Cortan and brought right back in.
Assisted by number 18, Tyler Hess.
Behind the goal they go. Sent into the slot. And a diving effort to keep it. Here's Korkish. Korkish waits. And it's tapped away by Kultgen. The two will get tangled up and get in a little bit of a joust there. Kultgen taps it ahead. Looking to feed a pass out front. And cycle down low. They get it to just halfway into the zone. Great Plains will flip it out from there. D-Diddy pass over for Schultz. He's in the offensive zone, but somebody beat him to it. 9 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in period number 3. Now McNeil for Great Plains tries to set the table. Schultz makes sure that that's not a pass that can get through. Betzold times that perfectly as he slows himself down for Gavin Core to enter the zone first. Betzold spins and comes up with a steal at neutral ice. McNeil giving chase. Guile. Set ahead for Schultz. Here's Core. Core across the line. Betzold goes off the crossbar and out. Minnesota dumps it in. It's Conway. Betzold will be the first one in for checking. And a nice job there. It forces an errant pass. Amit trying to capitalize on it. Had a man at the left point, couldn't get it to him. Tied up by Myers, and now the breakout. Coming away with it is McNeil, and scoring is McNeil. Gavin McNeil picks up his second of the game. And with 8 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in action, it's Great Plains with their largest lead of the evening. It's 7-3.
Scoring for Great Plains, number 27, Gavin McNeil. Assisted by number 19, KJ Sauer.
Firing upstairs. That one goes across, parallel to the goal post. Or I should say the crossbar. Here's Sauer, waits. Sauer drives and held onto by the netminder, although he thought he had it. He was not sure. We're 8 seconds away from the halfway point of the third period, and Great Plains rolling here on top by 4. Minnesota has to go behind their own net. Now Korkish comes up with a steal. They'll get it out of the zone. Across the line, here's Korkish. Feeds it over to the right side. Going upstairs is Cortan. And squeezed tight by the netminder. Lundborg keeps his squad with an opportunity here. 7 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in regulation. And if you're a fan of the Minnesota squad, you're hoping that there's even more hockey than that Minnesota can force extra time. Tracking that one was the netminder, although didn't have to make a play on it as it was off the mark. That one slips through somehow. Here's Otten. He's got Bronshausen going towards the net. Sent around, waiting, looking to dish was Otten. And Otten buries that one. And with 6 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the third, Minnesota responds, but they're going to need to get a few more and in a hurry. 8:31 time of the goal for Otten. That is his second of the game. And I'm surprised that those are his first points of the tournament, as he's been an offensive force in every game. So the lone assist going to Kultgen, and Schultz makes the handoff. Here's Amit. That's going to come out to Betzold. Betzold fires, and that puck was loose for a split second and loose no more, as Offit covers it up with the trapper, and he'll surrender a defensive zone faceoff with 5:42 to play. A little bit of physicality and the right amount behind the goal line. This is nearly turned over as Minnesota threw it out front. They had a waiting Ryder Betzold, and if he'd gotten a hold of that, would have likely made it a 2-goal game. Big shot there coming from Ament, gloved by Offet. And we've got 5 1/4 minutes remaining. Korkish with it from the right side. Now Korkish across the line. Sends it over and tapped in. No! It would not go. It will this time. I thought it had initially been scored by Mason Kraft. Somehow stayed out by the netminder, Lundborg. But the puck laying there for too long. And Great Plains gets a second and then a third chance, and finally it goes. This one comes at the 11-minute, 10-second mark. And Great Plains on top by a score of 8-4. On the draw, it's one back by McNeil.
Scoring for Great Plains is number 14, Owen Korkish. Assisted by number 11, Mason Kraft. Time of the goal, 4:50.
So it's Korkish from Kraft. Sent out front. Couple of taps at it. Can't get it to go. Stay tuned after the conclusion of this one, as we'll have our Youth Hockey Hub Player of the Game interview, and Vaughn sets it up, and no, it won't go for McNeil as he clangs it off of the crossbar. McNeil getting tangled up afterwards with Sam Schultz out of North Oaks, Minnesota. Plays for the Mounds View Irondale program during the winter. Moved over, an impossible angle shot nearly came through. They'll feed it out front now, Minnesota with Oren. They've got a big deficit to erase here, trailing by 4. Minnesota with 4 points in the standings right now. Here's Jensen, as Great Plains has 3 after getting tripped up 8-2 against New England. They'll try a pass around. Here's Jensen. Jensen waits, gets blocked, and flutters over to the right side. With it is Otten. Otten got tangled up there. Lentz helping into the rush. And coming back, waiting, Myers with the handoff. So he tried to feed it over for Jensen. Otten backhands it over for Jensen. Jensen moves it through Duchesne. And Duchesne tries to send it out front as he had Jensen in the slot. Minnesota will pick up the pieces and look to move it out. 2:35 left to go, 8-4. Minnesota trailing. And Kultgen with an opportunity, looks up, takes his time, finds Guile. Guile advances the puck up the left wing boards right in front of the Great Plains bench, but they'll take over from there. It's Kraft. Kraft with an assist on the Corkish goal not too long ago. At the 11:10 mark of the period. Hess with a nice poke to help break it up, and then with a full head of steam is Cullen Ingebrigtsen. Thrown towards the goaltender and made the stop with the blocker. The difficulty with that is obviously sometimes you have no idea where that's going to end up. So a blocker save can leave a rebound that's exactly where the goalie wants it to go, can leave a rebound in a bad spot, can even get a touch of it with the blocker and have it still go in. So he does a nice job of using both hands. As the blocker made the stop, then the glove just pinned it against his equipment. Chipped up, and with it is Tucker Johnson. Minute and a half to go. Coming away with it is O'Neill. O'Neill slides it over to the left side. Vaughn goes backwards with it. O'Neill. Now Vaughn can't find it and just blindly sweeping. I think somebody told him it was in his feet, and he was hoping to be the first one to make a play. Stanius across the line, tangled up, and we're going to have a penalty. Holding will be the call with 63 seconds left in regulation. Final minute, and it's flipped in as McNeil and Great Plains will be shorthanded here. I should say McNeil serves it, so he won't be shorthanded, but his squad will.
A minor penalty was assessed to Great Plains. Number 27, Gavin McNeil. 2 minutes for slashing. Time of the penalty, 1:03. McNeil for slashing at 1:03.
They'll advance it in Sauer. Sauer is guarded well by Kultgen. Short-handed and up by 4. Great Plains still pressing the offensive issue. 27 seconds left to go. Conway will get there for Minnesota. Tries to turn the corner and is tangled up by Corkish. They'll get, no, Hess comes up with a steal. He's in with Sauer. And it's stripped away. Conway loses the handle for a moment but comes back to it. Conway across into the zone. Bronshausen fires. That one tipped up by the netminder, and they'll hold on for the 8-4 victory. Quick scoring summary for the third period. Already on top, 5-3. Great Plains got goals from Mason Jensen, assisted by Tyler Hess, and then Gavin McNeil at the 4:09 and 6:37 mark of the third. Dylan Otten from Jack Kultgen, the lone goal for Minnesota in the period. But then Owen Korkish finished things off for Great Plains. Mason Kraft getting the assist on that one. 8-4 a final, and I have a feeling that we may be seeing the Great Plains number 21, Rowan Vaughn, in just a matter of moments, as we'll have for you the Youth Hockey Hub Player of the Game interview, as Tony Scott will take us down ice level. And so stay tuned for that one. Great Plains improves their record to 2-1-0-0. You're watching the 2018 North American Hockey Showcase on Youth Hockey Hub.
We're live post-game on YHH with Great Plains hero, hat-trick master, Rowan Vaughn from Minnetonka, Minnesota. Congratulations on the big win, Rowan.
Thanks.
All right, today you had a hat-trick. Talk to me about one of the goals that you put away today.
Gavin McNeil is just feeding me all of them.
Backdoor feed,
Yeah.
tap in, right? Easy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's it going to take for Great Plains to win the show this week?
Just got to keep playing like this. I feel like we've improved with getting out of the zone a little bit more than this game than last game.
All right, talk a little bit about your experience here at the show. What's it mean to you? What's it been like playing so far?
It's been awesome. I've made a couple friends. It's just fun and competing with other teams around the country.
Good deal. Rowan, you had a great day today. Big hat trick. Congratulations on being player of the game.
Thanks.
Great Plains wins it 8-4 here at YHH. Congratulations to them, and Rowan Vaughn is our player of the game.
Rowan, gotta get a picture. All right, thanks, Tony, as we bring it back to you. Again, we'll put a bow on day 2 of the 2018 North American Hockey Showcase with Great Plains leapfrogging Minnesota. They now have 6 points in the standings to the 4 of Minnesota. And as these two teams get set for tomorrow, we'll head over to Mariucci Arena, home of the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers men's program. It will be Minnesota taking on Great Lakes at 9:45. The next game we'll have on the broadcast will be Rocky Mountain and New England, a big game that a lot of people are excited to watch. That'll start at 8 a.m. For Tony Scott, for Greg Titty, our camera operator, and our producer, and for myself, Eric Zamora, we thank you for tuning in. Again, a final here from the Bloomington Ice Garden, Great Plains 8 and Minnesota 4. You've been watching the 2018 installment of the show on Youth Hockey Hub.